to Two Broads and a Brit. It's not great, but it's entertaining. Lynn Hartram. I'm here with Caitlin Greer. What's up? And Lee Hazel.
What's up?
I always have, can Lee go first? Can we introduce Lee first? Sure. He always makes fun of me, and then I get self-conscious.
No, don't make fun of me. I thought today I'll just repeat whatever Caitlin says. Yeah.
Usually you just make fun of me.
Oh, I don't do that.
Just kidding. I actually really like when people make fun of me. Yesterday it was like a weird day at work where I was like having feelings, which is not normal.
Oh, that's weird.
So I had feelings.
Feelings?
I looked at the girls.
You right?
It's disgusting. I looked at the girls that I worked with and I was like, can somebody just be mean to me? I need somebody to be mean to me. Hold me. So my friend goes, you look really fat today. And I was like, thank you so much. I needed that.
My God.
I needed it.
A little pick me up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm messed up in the head. So how's everybody doing today?
I'm all right. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, you? Trying to work out what's in your drink?
Just water.
Oh, all right. Okay.
It's blue. Maybe that's what's
It's
throwing
just
you.
the cup is blue.
We have very
Nice.
colorful cups today.
Yeah, we have colorful cups.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, hey, whoa. Caitlin, you need an orange one.
And for the Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
hilarious.
straight away.
Yep.
Never off duty. I'm never
No.
off duty with it.
One of my kids said to me, like, I think it was Piper said to me, Lee mentions Dunkin' Donuts in every episode, I think. I was like,
Well,
he loves it.
I didn't know I was doing it. Yeah.
He's the British ambassador for Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Lee is going to lead the way today. What are you going to
Yeah.
tell us about today, Lee?
I've no idea, Caitlin.
Bullshit.
I say this every week. No, I've actually come prepared.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so proud.
Put my goggles on. Right, today,
Oh, they're goggles today.
yeah, I'm actually a little bit steamed up at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about what is known as the Waltham Black Act of 1723 in England. So basically, I'll spell it for the viewers at home. The British people will know. Waltham is an area of London,
Okay.
and I've been there. And let me
Do you like it?
let me tell you, charming place.
Really?
Oh,
People are lovely. The beer's not watered down. I'm joking. It's a fucking cesspit.
yeah.
Um,
There it is.
but
That's
I honestly think I was going to be fucking nice about town. Did you?
I had tiny bit of hope that you were going to like a place.
Oh no, God no. Oh no, darling. Oh.
It was just, I'm still, naive. I'm naive.
It's anyway the maggot-ridden cesspit that is Waltham.
Sorry,
so-
Waltham.
Waltham.
Waltham. It smelled like Waltham, so I don't know how to.
I'll set the scene. 1723. In or around London at the time.
Mhm.
Bearing in mind that in England back then, it was the height of our empire. The country was stinking rich, but the average Joe was fucking poor.
Right.
You're either rich or poor. There was no in between.
Yeah.
So a lot of people stole because they simply had to.
Right.
They literally didn't have a choice.
Like Aladdin.
So yeah, a bit like Aladdin.
Just like Aladdin.
So
Just like that. Absolutely.
was good,
Oh,
man.
okay. And then they burst into song.
Yes.
well, we've all rubbed our magic lamp at times, haven't we? So,
Oh,
Sometimes
Lordy.
never mind. Keep going.
Just keep going.
Just go.
so anyway, so basically, a lot of poaching is going on, and a lot of people stealing deer around the royal parks and stuff like that.
Like live deer or
deer, yeah, the poaching.
Oh deer.
Just
Not some old deer who's standing at the bus stop. No, not some little deer.
Francie, I got him. Like, come on. Let me lift this fucking deer.
I got the head. You get the leg.
Lynn, you've got to work on that. Here you go.
I can't do it. Because if I did it in my normal British accent, you'd be like, oh, that's too posh. Or
Posh
whatever.
people didn't steal deer.
No,
Yeah.
posh people didn't steal deer.
It was people going, oi,
Right.
deer.
So anyway, a lot of poaching is going on. By basically what they're doing is they're the robbers and the thieves are going out and basically they're putting soot an ash all over their faces as some sort of disguise.
Like original blackface.
I was just thinking the same thing. That's terrible.
This is what gave.
Where we go?
This is why it was called the Waltham Black Act. So this is. Yeah. It's true. It's
I
true.
don't know why that's so funny to me, but
It's true. In case someone thought that's the most racist thing I've ever heard, it's nothing to do with colour. It's basically the robbers would put soot all over them. The highwaymen used to do it.
right.
When they were robbing the stagecoaches.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that was get turned to the Waltham Black Act. So
Did they
basically,
think this was like camouflage?
Well,
Like, they'll never recognize me now.
Anyway, so
Right.
one day in the House of Lords, 1723, someone stood up and said, "You know what, lads? Something's got to be done about this shit. I propose a parliamentary act that's going to be so ludicrous."
Hey, was that a direct quote?
It was a direct quote. You can look it up yourself. He said, "Lads, listen up."
I love Lee's version of a lord. Like,
I do too.
all right, lads. It's got to be done about this. Not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, so I propose an idea where we can basically think of the most ludicrous things that we can string people up for. All right, let's have a show of hands. We can't fail not to get on the nation's tits with this. It's going to be marvellous. It's going to be marvellous, right?
Yeah.
Up goes a show of hands. Before you know it, that is the 1723 Waltham Black Act. Okay? And this is fucking insane. I mean, it really is. I mean, if the poor people thought they had it bad before then, things were about to get a lot worse.
Okay.
Now, the 1723 Black Act went on until 1850. So it was quite a long act. It was like 100 and something years.
Wow.
So, and they kept adding and adding and adding to what you can be executed for.
I'm into it.
Now in the beginning there was something like 50. There's something like 50 crimes.
Okay.
And they kept adding and adding. And I think what one person said, what we're going to do today, lads, is we're going to go to the bar, we're going to get fucking smashed. And then we're going to create some laws while we're drunk, because that's obviously I think what happened. When I read some of them out, it's in the end it got to 222.
There was 222
What?
things.
222 things you could be executed for in England.
wow. Okay.
Now, it's really bloody hard to get a defined list. I went online. I got some of the crimes.
The top.
I've got about 20 here.
Yeah, that's plenty. We don't need to list off all 200.
Now, I'll get on to Newgate Prison in a while, but
Okay.
years ago, we've got the London Dungeon here. It was next to London Bridge. Now, years ago, I went to the London Dungeon, and they had the gate from Newgate Prison, which might not mean a lot to you, but when I explain what it was, I think fucking hell. This gate was this isn't the size of a garage door. This is fucking about the size of a house.
Okay.
This gate, right? And it had a list of things there that you could be executed for.
Wow.
In the Waltham Black Act, and they put it was a sign on the gate, stuff like that. And I remember looking at it. This is about 10 years ago, thinking, "Fucking hell, I've got to read more into this. This is fantastic."
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read out some of the crimes that I'll say crime. Obviously, you've got murder and
Right.
Right.
I've been getting away with that for years.
Right.
But,
You're lucky that act is.
Until one police officer sees this podcast, and then the jig is up.
My patio is getting fuller by the week, So anyway, the Waltham Black Act, I'm going to read for, as always, hold on to your tin helmet. Here we go. The Waltham Black Act 1723 was brought in as an emergency measure to deal with deer stealing and other activities in the Royal Forests.
I like that deer stealing was so prominent that
Right.
they actually they created the entire thing around stealing deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to remember that those deer belong to royalty.
Right. But how many fucking deer
Right.
are there?
Are they losing that many deer?
Well, there's thousands of them.
Right.
So-
Exactly. So are they losing that
It's
many?
fucked up that they can't share.
Right.
Do you think a royal deer has a crown? Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry.
I'll finish. That was it.
Done. We're done. Goodbye.
Right. By men who disguise themselves by blacking their faces. Okay, between 1750 and 1815, a series of acts were added to the number of offences punishable by death.
Okay.
Bringing the number to 200. By 1850, that number had reached 222. Nice round number.
Right.
You know, I would like to see a director's cut, and well, we can't have that. That's just fucking silly.
Yeah, right. I wonder how long it would
we
take.
can have in.
I wonder how long it would take for each one of us to get strung up by the list of laws. Like, how fast would we die?
I think you and I would be like,
we'd be dead
in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
because I would read the list and be like, challenge accepted.
One of the ones on the list was breathing in. There was another law that says you weren't allowed to breathe out.
What?
So, it's just my little joke. You know? So, right. You fucking believe that, Lynn? So the final count was 222. Right. So I'm going to read off some of the ones that sort of wet my whistle. So, breaking riverbanks.
What does that mean?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Breaking a riverbank?
Breaking a riverbank. Yeah.
Digging something up on a riverbank?
Digging something up, disturbing the earth or whatever it is, breaking riverbanks.
Okay.
Cutting down a hop vine.
Oh, to make beer?
We've all been guilty of that. Yeah, you could be punishable by death for that.
Oh.
This one is an absolute fucking belter. Now, bear in mind, Greenwich is an area of London. It's a royal borough. Basically, it's full of pensioners. It was at the time. They all lived at the Royal Greenwich Hospital, which is the old Royal Naval Hospital. Impersonating a Greenwich pensioner could get you punishable by death. So what people were doing, they were pretending to be a pensioner, going in and claiming someone else's pension.
Oh, okay.
So they've added impersonating a Greenwich pensioner.
Right. All right.
To their little list, as I like to call it, the cheesy chart.
A Greenwich pensioner sounds like a scary story. Like, and then the Greenwich pensioner to eat your toes while you were sleeping. I don't know what the finger thing is.
They were little old men with cobwebs on. I mean, they wasn't, but they all lived together in the same place.
Right,
so people were going in and disguising themselves and saying, today I'm just...
They all live together. You think they know these people.
Yeah, but this place is fucking huge, Lynn. This is the Royal Naval Hospital.
Pardon the hell out of me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's... sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's massive. Murder. Believe it or not, you could get hung for murder.
What? You know what?
Still can't hear.
Cutting down hot lines and murder.
Yeah,
definitely right next to each other.
Did you know hanging is still on the books as a form of capital punishment? And I think it's in New Hampshire.
Cool.
Like you can still choose to. I don't know that they would do it, but technically it's still on the books.
I mean, there are still some strange laws in England to this day. I mean, you can't. It's illegal to be drunk in charge of a horse.
Well, that makes
like
sense.
drunk driving.
It is a bit trivia for you and for our free listeners as well. Now there are 4 vehicles that can go through a red light in England. Go on, see if you can name them.
Ambulance.
Police car.
Carriage.
A carriage?
Like a horse, buggy, carriage.
No.
A bicycle?
Think of emergency services.
What the fuck? A fire truck?
A fire truck.
Yeah, that's your 3rd one. Everyone gets stuck on the 4th.
A hearse.
A hearse?
Hearse.
No.
You're gonna get those bodies.
A baby carriage.
Give you a clue. Think of parcels and letters.
A mailman?
Yes. Yeah.
A mailman could be like gotta deliver these letters,
Yeah,
bitches! Like,
It's the Royal Mail. It's the Queen's Royal Mail.
oh, the Royal Mail.
Royal Mail. It's all
Yeah,
Royal Mail.
it's your average red van on the street, but they don't exercise it, but they can because it's the Royal Mail. So
Over, bitches!
not a lot of men have it.
Make way for mail!
Yeah, so they can because it's the Royal Mail. It comes under the Queen. So moving on, we've got arson.
Yeah. All right.
Got your arson. So that's fair enough. Forgery. It wasn't actually sort of more specific. That said forgery. This one I like. Destroying textile machinery. You can be hung for it.
Destroying
so you like
destroy a loom and all of a sudden you're loom.
Yeah.
Hung?
Yeah, like a sewing machine, or
Oh, a sewing machine even. Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were like frustrated at work at your job of sewing straight lines into fabric or whatever you're making, like making little pants. Right. And you just like accidentally break your machine and then they're like, You're done, mate.
Yeah,
I'll be like, to the gallows. Get out. Caitlin bent my cross-stitch needle. My loom. My loom.
You'll be hung for it. So on. Cutting down trees. I
agree with that one. Calm down,
You'll be
environment.
hung for it. Stealing horses or sheep.
Wait, what? What about sheep? What did you say?
Stealing a horse or a sheep. You can be hung for.
Okay, just a horse or a sheep, though. All other animals are together. You can steal a chicken, no problem.
Yeah, well, stealing, but these, stealing an apple, stealing a loaf of bread.
An apple? These are separate laws. They don't just have stealing. They can't just do a blanket law of stealing.
Stealing an apple, you'd be hung for it.
Couldn't they come up with some like a less harsh punishment? I like the cutting of the hands. I like how they cut people.
In Saudi Arabia, they
still do that. They cut your hands off.
Okay, here's a quick side story, right? So when I was a kid, I lived in Riyadh for about 6 years.
Of course you did.
Right?
On the
Because
global tour, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a t-shirt with the tour dates on the back? That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That would be great.
Or like a coffee mug or something,
That would be great. I'm going to make it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, they still do that. They still have a place where if you steal, they chop off your right hand. A lot of other, all right, there's a reason behind that and it's disgusting. So before cutlery, you would eat with one hand, and this is also before, and wipe with the other, right? So the left hand was for wiping, the right hand was for eating.
Right.
So cut off your right hand, guess what you gotta do?
Yeah.
Eat with your shit hand.
Yeah.
Technically, I guess you'd have to do that either way, but that's the reasoning. Okay, and then they do still cut your head off.
Well,
right? They do certain things. However, okay, here's the part, and even as a kid, I found this funny, and that's a little twisted probably. The place where it's done, there's like a square where it's done, and you can go and watch this happen, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often because people know, you know, so it's very, very rare. The nickname for it is Chop Chop Square. And I thought that was hilarious as a kid. It sounds like
that's inventive.
It does.
Is that on Google Earth?
Yeah, come on down to Chop Chop Square. Chop Chop Square. We'll lighten your load.
Well, what I'm building up to is similar to that.
Up on it.
Stealing an apple, stealing a loaf of bread,
lost his head.
Destroying turnpike roads.
We're still punning. We're punning about the hand.
Sorry.
We're punning about hands, losing Chop Square.
The great thing about that, if you get your hand chopped, you are eligible for half-price gloves.
There you go.
You get 50% gloves. You say you walk to shut up. I've only got one fucking out.
That's right. And Lee, always looking for a deal.
Good effects for everything. Stealing a rabbit warren.
A rabbit?
No, stealing a rabbit warren.
What's a rabbit warren?
Yeah, rabbit warren.
No,
we don't know what it is.
What it is. A rabbit warren.
Fucking talk to me like that.
You don't repeat the word after we ask you what it is. You point your finger at me, buddy.
Right, okay. Right.
Ooh, wow.
A warren is where a rabbit lives. It's a hole in the ground.
So you steal the hole?
Well, this is not point out the fucking list. I mean, it is stupid. I mean,
That's crazy, though.
Right?
There's a hole in the ground where a rabbit lives.
Okay, so the law itself is crazy, but what I find crazier is there must have been people actually doing this.
Yeah, it's
in
like
order for them
warning
to make a
labels.
law.
I mean, what does a rabbit put in its warren? It probably puts a bit of food in it, a bit of
Babies.
straw, a bit of grass.
Oh,
They
I
put
don't
their
know.
babies in there.
oh.
Peeling from a rabbit warren, maybe it's still
Baby rabbits.
rabbits, the baby to eat and whatever.
Or maybe the
Ah.
rabbit has like a lot of gold in there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The rabbit's just secretly hoarding gold.
Right.
You can't steal from a rabbit's fortune.
Got a lot of eggs in there.
It's just
He's
like
the Easter
Scrooge
Bunny.
McDuck, but he's a rabbit and he's just swimming through gold coins.
This one you'll like. Pickpocketing goods worth a shilling. A shilling is an old coin in England. It's worth about £30 today. So
Okay.
if it equated to a shilling, you'd be hung up for it. Being out at night with a blackened face, well, there's no excuse for that. You're going up.
Right.
This one's a great one. Is being an unmarried mother concealing a stillborn child.
Concealing it?
Concealing a stillborn child.
So
Being,
If you had a baby out of wedlock and it was
Dead.
dead,
being an unmarried mother
for hiding
concealing
in
a
it.
stillborn child, you could be hung for
That's
it.
judgmental.
That's
Jesus.
that's a lot.
right?
That's a lot.
She's just been through like a stillborn.
But also,
Yeah.
who the fuck
And-
hides it? Who
Yeah.
takes their
well, maybe
dead?
they don't want people to know that they were pregnant. This is back then, like
That's true.
when that was like,
Yeah.
But like, who poops out a baby and then the baby's dead, and then you're like, you know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Put this under my bed.
Yeah.
you know what? I think we need to have a talk about how a baby comes into the world.
I know. I just don't like to think about it. Who shoots one out of its fucking V tube? And
This is how ludicrous the list has got.
Me too. Got it.
This one's a fucking great one. This one, wrecking a fish pond.
a fish pond?
Wrecking a fish
Fuck
pond.
that fish pond. Fuck that fish pond.
Yeah,
Fuck it
wrecking.
with a fish for.
How do you go about
What's in
wrecking
there
a
for the
fish
fish?
pond? I don't know. Wrecking a fish pond, you could be hung for it.
All right.
But now this one I like. Burning your own house, you could be hung for it.
All righty.
Burning your own house. I mean, whether it's deliberate or not. And next to that, we've got burning your neighbour's house.
Well, that makes
Well,
sense.
that's fair enough.
What if
Isn't
your
that-
house catches on fire and then the neighbor's house gets caught on
Dead.
fire? So you're dead twice now?
I mean, that's where they were going.
Dead.
Yeah.
2 hangings.
Yeah, there seems to be a tiny element of sense.
Plus your neighbor would get hung because their house burned down too.
Yeah.
Damaging orchards, I should say. Damaging orchards.
Orchards.
All right.
Okay.
And the last one on my list, my personal favourite is shooting a ghost. You can be hung for it.
Nice.
We talked about this.
Yes.
You told us about
We did.
this.
We
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The reason is people were shooting each other.
Yeah.
And when the magistrates were arresting them, they said, no, I wasn't shooting at him. A ghost appeared. I was shooting at the ghost. The bullet went through the ghost and just so happened to kill it.
Logical.
Oh, no.
I mean, it happens. What are you going to do?
Honest, that was the
Yeah.
truth. So they said, you know what, fuck it. You can't shoot a ghost.
Right.
Anyone that shoots at a ghost, you're going up and all.
Yeah.
Have some of that, me old fucking beauty. That's what
One of these days we should look at all the different ghost laws because there are different laws
There's-
pertaining to ghosts.
Really?
Mhm. Like in Massachusetts, if your house is haunted, you have to disclose that.
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
If there was a
know that.
murder or it's a haunting, you have to you can't sell it without being like,
Yeah, my house is haunted.
I'm not telling the people that I'm not saying that about
No.
my house ghost.
No.
Well,
No.
well, the pub across the road, that's haunted as hell.
Really?
I'm sure. I think
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
most places over there are haunted because
Well,
it's so old.
It was a bit of a giveaway. When I ordered a beer, it was headless.
Wah, wah.
Sorry. Fucking hell, it's the best joke. Fucking hell. Right.
All right. We have at least one dad joke an episode, I've noticed.
Right.
Any of us.
Oh, that's good.
I thought that was
It was good.
one of my best ones. But so anyway, so that's the Waltham Black Hat, which leaves me. So when they So when they were condemned to death,
Yep.
what did they do with all these villains?
Yeah.
So basically, I will explain from A to B what happened to them. Basically, I don't know if you ever heard of Newgate Prison. It is in London. It's in the centre of London, or was.
Okay.
The Romans put it there.
All right.
On around the year 1000 or 1100, something like that. This was the most notorious prison in Europe.
Okay.
This
Can I
place. Now I can.
time out. I find that so crazy. I mean, because living here, we're a relatively new country, right?
Right.
To say like, oh, the Romans built it
In 1100.
In about 1100, the Romans. But like that to me blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like I know it exists in other countries. So I'm not a complete moron, but just like, oh, the Romans built it. Matter of factly, it's so crazy.
Pretty cool.
It is cool.
Originally, they built it. It was expanded. Now, this prison was. Now, let me tell you. No, I've never been there. What a fucking shithole that place was.
Oh, you don't like it?
And what stands there today is the Central Criminal Court, which is more commonly known as the Old Bailey. It's the most famous court in Britain.
Okay.
Your equivalent is the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So it's right near St Paul's Cathedral. This what was the Newgate prison. It got its name from years ago when London was first being built. There was a wall around London.
Right.
And now we have Bishopsgate, Newgate. They're all gates named after the gates around.
Are the gates? Is the wall and are the gates still there?
The gates aren't there, but the towns are still there. You've got, from memory, Newgate, Bishopsgate,
Watergate.
No, not Watergate. I can't.
Sorry.
Can't remember the Ludgate.
Lovegate.
Lud.
Lud.
I was like, oh,
right. Lud.
Anyway, so Newgate Prison. Now, this by the 1700s, this prison had become. It was a debtor's prison. So if you didn't have any money in there, you died in there. Basically, if it wasn't like today, they say, right, here you go, mate. Here's your dinner. Here's your pudding. Here's your cheese on toast. Here's your cup of tea. If you need anything, give us a. Right. If you didn't have any money going into this prison, you starved to death.
I saw this on a show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on Harlots, but still, at debtor's prison, they had to pay for everything. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse because if you died in there, now bearing in mind you had about 20 to 30 people to a cell.
Yeah.
There was a toilet system, so you were sleeping in piss and shit every fucking night. If a body died in there or starved to death, they would just leave the body. The families couldn't afford to get the body out, so they left the bodies in the cells. Right? And literally the cockroaches and the lice would basically away. Or you would sleep next to it. So
imagine the smell.
If you had money, basically you were in shackles and chains. If you had money, you could pay the jailer to release you from the shackles and the chains. If you didn't, most people went stir crazy in there.
Right.
Very little daylight. Now the original court was above. Was on the top floor of the prison, which at the time was a small little court. So when the prisoners were being taken up, they smelled so bad that they were covered in the authorities would cover them in vinegar.
What? Oh, vinegar to smell better?
To disguise the smell.
Just piss and vinegar.
Right.
That's where the expression comes from. It's full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah. That's where you get the vinegar strokes from.
I doubt that they had the motivation, unless they were like, "Ooh, I love corpses."
So all these poor buggers. So you heard the term "we're in limbo"?
Yeah.
That comes from Newgate Prison. There was a cell at the very, very bottom of the prison. They had a sewer running through the cell. All right, and that cell was called limbo. Hence the term "we're in limbo."
Right. See, I wonder if that's. I mean, I in theory you would think, oh, that's disgusting, but I wonder if that cell smelled a little better because things were moving, as opposed to the other ones where it was just like, there it is.
So they had all kinds of keeping order and law in there as well. If you spoke out or you was noisy, you got out of control. They had a big contraption that would remove people's tongues. They had this at the London Dungeon. It's like a big sort of big thing.
I could do it.
They would heat it
Could
up.
you?
They would heat it up, and basically this machine was deliberately made for removing people's tongues.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Now this place
I could do it.
was just the most notorious place.
Shut up.
So anyway, so when they went to be hung, now Newgate prison, they would be taken in a horse and cart to the gallows.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The gallows was a place called Tyburn, which is in London, which is now Marble Arch, right? Now this place, Tyburn, had a triple tree. It was a gallows that was triangular shaped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The reason they designed it in triangular shaped was basically that they could hang 8 people on each beam at the same time.
Wow, this must have been big.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. Okay, so it was called the triple tree. So,
yes, it was.
Size does matter.
The size of 8 men.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's like 24 people at the same time. That's
Exhibition.
Now, bearing in mind that at the time in the 1700s, hanging wasn't instantaneous. They hadn't developed the system that they have now, where someone falls through a trap door and the ropes, it springs
breaks your
their
neck. Yeah.
So what they were doing at the time was basically the prisoner was taken. They were put on a horse. The noose was put around the neck. Their hands and feet were tied, basically, and then someone would flog the horse, and then the horse would move,
and then
they're leaving them dangling. So
basically suffocate to death.
Yeah, so they suffocate over quite a long period of time. So
that is.
So it was nicknamed at the time the Tyburn Jig, because it looked like
they were all dancing.
Them were dancing because their legs would go. Yeah, it was nicknamed the Tyburn Jig. So anyway, so bearing in mind that this from Newgate Prison to the gallows, which is Tyburn, is about 3 miles. Now, this 3 miles is down a stretch of road called High Holborn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this road very, very well because I used to walk down it to work. It's one long road. It's about 3 miles, and you eventually get to there. It used to take the prisoner about 4 hours to get there by horse and cart, because they used to stop off at now all the crowds used to come out and watch the people going down. They used to stop off at every pub and inn down High Holborn to get the prisoner as fucking smashed as they could.
That's nice.
Nice, actually. Yeah.
The landlord would come out with a pint of beer for the condemned, and that's where the term "one for the road" comes from.
Ah.
You can have one for the road, so you have it on the back of the, going down the road.
Yeah.
The term "you're on the wagon" means sober. Basically, means the driver couldn't have one. You're on the wagon.
Ah,
I'm learning so much,
right?
But then you fall off the wagon.
You fall off the wagon if you're drunk. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the driver couldn't have a drink. You're on the wagon.
Right.
So basically, they'd stop off at every inn. So by the time they got to the gallows, most of the prisoners were pissed as farts.
That's good.
They were, which is a good thing.
Yeah, they're not
pissed as farts is pretty much.
Now, when they got to Tyburn, fucking carnage, absolute fucking carnage. I mean, thousands and thousands of people used to turn up to this event every weekend. It was entertainment. It was entertainment. Right? Pickpockets. Now they had. Right by the gallows, they had, if you were rich and you wanted to see the hangings, you could pay for a good seat.
Oh, nice.
And these seats remind me of when I was in America. When you get around the side of like baseball and
like box seats.
Yeah. They go up and stay. They wouldn't sit. They would go up and they would sit on those.
Nice.
Now the pickpockets thought this was Christmas come early, so it was absolute carnage. The hangman. If there was a real bad villain there, the hangman later on in the inns and the pubs would cut up the bits of rope and sell the rope to the people and say, this rope hangs old matey boy who, fucked off a lot of people. And
yeah, they were entrepreneurs, right?
the hangman also got the rights to the clothes. They got the rights.
If you're going to be the one that has to kill the guy,
I did know that they get the
clothes.
They got the rights to the clothes. So
did they sell those off as well?
They would sell them off and stuff like that. So now, bearing in mind, because of those laws of the Black Act, a lot of children were being hung. You knew this, but children and old women and old ladies, no one was let off. Absolutely no one was let off. I mean, it was so sad. I've read the book about, Tyburn and, basically, now Tyburn was there from 1200 to 1800, I think it was, something like that. Something like 50,000 people were hung there over 600 years.
Jeez.
Well,
50,000 people.
50,000 over 600 isn't like...
Yeah, it's a lot of people, but a lot of them were children. And a lot of them, didn't have a lot of choice. So
it's going to decrease the population.
They would all do speeches before they were hung.
Speeches, drunk speeches.
Now,
awesome.
A lot of the children were there to take and be hung. Their parents would go in the horse and cart with them.
Oh,
fearful journey.
Were the kids drunk?
Wait, did they get the kids drunk?
No, the kids wasn't drunk, but the parents would go with them.
Kids are like, I just want to thank my mom. And I want to thank my dad and Santa, because Santa brings me the choice. So fuck all I'm out.
That's the kids' last hurrah.
Barney for teaching me my ABCs. Thank you so much, sir. Purple dinosaur. Goodbye.
So no one was spared. So the poor little buggers were going up as well. Now, did it prove anything? It was meant as a deterrent. It didn't stop anything.
Clearly.
It didn't stop anything. People still did it. They still robbed and stole because they had nothing. They just generally didn't have a choice.
They didn't have an option.
They didn't have an option.
Right.
So that's Newgate Prison, and then that's Tyburn. That's generally what it was. It got so bad at Tyburn that they eventually moved the hangings to inside the walls at Newgate Prison.
Oh yeah, because people got too crazy.
It got too crazy. There was a lot of drunk and disorderly. They couldn't keep control of the crowd. Pickpockets were everywhere.
Well, doesn't it kind of like it's like an endless cycle, right? So you have all the people there to see the criminals, but then they are the criminals because they're fucking stealing shit, and then they get arrested, and then they're there, and then
what was happening a lot was the pickpockets were getting caught there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we got room for you too.
Yeah, and they were being fucking hung 20 minutes later. You've built this nice triple tree. There's room for one more right now. We won't have a trial. You've been caught. Up you go.
Yep.
Have some of that, mate. It's and what's there today? Now on the floor, where the triple tree was. I'll tell you why. There was two reasons why it was triangular. It was because they could hang 8 people on each side at any given go. So they did hangings. But each leg of the tree, actually, it was where 3 different London boroughs met. So each leg was in a different London borough.
How sentimental.
Yeah. So
I think it was just easy. They could hang for 3 different boroughs. They could just
Yeah. So what's
the community together?
Now today, if you go there today, at the exact spot, there is a plaque there. There's a picture that I sent you. It's about the size of a dustbin lid on the floor. It just says site of the triple tree.
Yeah. It's a way to commemorate the lives of those people.
Yeah, just a little
dustbin lid.
They're all fucking criminals.
It's on a tiny little sort of pedestrian island. Most people walk past it. They don't sort of take much notice of it.
Right.
That's really all that's there to remind someone of what carnage it was. Newgate Prison, what happened to that? That stopped becoming a prison around 1800 and something. Now, the criminal court expanded. There's no remnants of the prison there now. It's all the court. However, there is a pub across the road called the Holborn Viaduct, Now in the base, in the basement of that pub is cells. That's still there today. Now ghost hunters went there. They went to the basement, saw a load of cells. Now at one point there was a tunnel between the pub and Newgate prison.
Ghost Hunters, the actual show Ghost Hunters, or just Ghost Hunters in general?
No, the actual show, Ghost Hunters.
Ooh, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to find that.
They went there. So, yeah, there's still remnants of it there, but Newgate prison is. There is a plaque there outside the Old Bailey now, saying that this is the start of the old Newgate prison.
That's cool.
It's just a fascinating place, really. Most people died of jail fever, of lice, starvation.
I don't know that you can die of lice.
Yeah. They literally went. A lot of them didn't even make the gallows. You know, for the crime that they were, sentenced for. Because
I could see you working in that jail.
I could do that.
Totally see you do.
I could be an executioner. I could be a prison guard because I don't give a fuck. Like, oh, what did you do, little boy? You stole from a bunny's hole?
Yeah.
Up you go, bitch. Like, see you later. Have a nice night. Have a nice sleep well, you piece of shit. Maybe you should learn to follow all the weird laws.
Yeah.
Fucker. Give me that tongue. Give me that tongue.
Yeah, you
Cut it right out. Don't talk back.
The London dungeon had all the equipment that they found in the Newgate prison, and that the jailers were using and stuff like that. There's shackles and all sorts of torture devices were in there, and I'm
really into the tongue thing. I don't know why.
Gross.
I'm into it. I think it's fucking awesome and disgusting and awesome, and I want to see it happen to a person in real life.
Oh no, tongues are gross.
That's why I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Just fucking
It's like a big slug in your mouth. It is. Okay, I have tongues gross me out.
I don't like when tongues are really spitty. You know how some people's tongues are like really shiny because there's a lot of spit in their mouths? That's just disgusting.
Okay,
Who's got a dry mouth? I mean,
no, not a dry mouth. Like a normal amount of spit is okay, but you know what I mean. Like it's just like they're talking, but I can't stop looking at their extra shiny tongue because there's a lot of spit in there, and I know it's going to come out.
You're afraid it's going
to come out at me, and I'm not interested in that. Spit, cutting somebody's tongue out, cool.
Gross.
Spit makes me feel.
Well, they would heat the thing up as well, just to have
so it would cauterize it at the same time.
This is you want to know why I don't like tongues. So when I was young, in my 20s, very briefly, I worked as a dental assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Some people's tongues have a mind of their own.
Yes,
like you're trying to work on their tooth, and their tongue is like, and you're like, please don't do that. It's getting. They're like, I can't help it. I'm not doing anything. Your tongue just like
it's the weirdest thing. I hate.
Or sometimes they wriggled like a worm. Some people's tongues are different. Yeah, it was like it quivered a little. No,
I love it.
Yeah,
gross.
If there's ever a series of murders where people's tongues are like cut out of their heads, you guys know, and I'm missing.
It was you.
The heads are cut off and the tongues are cut out.
Yeah,
that's my dream.
We'll have to come up with a good tongue related cereal.
So all those the inns in the pubs when they used to go down High Holborn, all those inns and pubs, a lot of them are still there today.
Yep. Yeah.
So for 2 years I worked in Covent Garden, so I would get out near St Paul's Cathedral and I would walk down High Holborn. Now I knew the history of that street, but so I would look at all these inns and pubs and try and visualise what it was like in the 1700s. So they're still there, these pubs, and you can imagine the people, all looking out the top windows, and
it's awesome. I think it speaks a lot to who we are as like a human beings, like that was a form of entertainment. Like we're like, let's watch people die, but now people are such pussies that we can't even kill criminals. Just kidding. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't, because it's not a good enough punishment.
I agree. From my knowledge of, England has a barbaric history. We really do. That's, this is...
You're talking to people who their country formed by just massacring Indians.
Yeah.
We massacred an entire race of people.
Yeah,
now.
but But the Waltham Black Act was set up originally. It was meant to be a deterrent to stop, but it just didn't stop people doing it.
Right.
I mean,
Well, they had no choice.
Well, if you
it sounds
can't, if you're
no
starving,
choice.
right, what are you going to do?
if you're starving, what
Right.
what have you got to lose? You know,
Why
but
didn't
that
they
is
put
true.
on the
They-
like black stuff on their faces, like they can't see us
a
now.
bunch of people run around. It's like all the chimney sweeps from Mary Poppins are just running around stealing deer.
I still think the deer should have like caught on, like,
I would have ridden that deer out of the woods.
oh,
but,
Get off on the deer and ride him out.
but they,
Let's go.
you'd be like, nope, this one was mine.
Yeah,
No.
I own it.
but-
I didn't steal it. Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know how they come up with someone. I mean, you know, was it destroying a pond? I mean,
Yeah,
The
I feel
rabbits
like
warren.
the rabbits
why
were.
the fuck do you say? Oh, do you know what? I've got one here. That's have we got destroying a pond? Is that on the list? No, stick it on this. Put it on the
Yeah,
list.
they threw
Make
a
sure
bunch
it's
of
on.
forks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
They were
Oh.
fish forks.
Say, well, and the next person said, well, I've got one. I think, you should be hung for, pissing on the street on a Wednesday. And say, no, that's just silly. We'll just stick to the list.
Yeah.
I have like these. I have these images of these lords coming into what is the place called where they make the laws?
Parliament.
House of Lords.
House of Lords. They come into the House of Lords and they're like
Well, they,
these like pasty, snotty little like
With their wigs. I feel
my
like
ancestors basically
wear
when they
wigs
came
and-
in.
yeah, with their
That
big
was
white
us,
wigs.
yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, someone destroyed my fish pond and I'm very angry. I'm cross about it. Kill them. Like, I mean, really? Get over it. It's a fish pond.
It's just like very It just reminds me of Monty Python.
What
That's
do you
all
think?
it reminds me of. Is like, she's a
well,
witch.
yeah, it's
Burn her.
we.
A flesh wound. She's terrifying.
Well, you've got bit of trivia for you, a bit of boring trivia for you. Now that you've got the Democrats and the Republicans, we've mainly got the Conservatives and the Labour Party. But now in the 1700s, one of the first political parties was called the Whigs.
Right. The
In
Whigs.
Britain.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Whigs
the
were
Whigs.
Tories,
It was-
right?
Yeah, they turned into the Tories. Yeah,
Oh.
but it was spelled WHIG.
Like,
yeah.
Whigs.
Whigs, and they were the original ones that wore the wigs. Now I don't know where it stemmed from, but people used to wear wigs back then because their hair was disgusting.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't a lot of them shave their heads too?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
just
lice and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So they would.
yeah, their hair was disgusting. They didn't have shampoo. They didn't wash their hair. It was disgusting.
It's like me. I should probably get some wigs.
Um,
I don't wash my hair very often.
He's just like, it's disgusting. Like, the hair is what's really driving him crazy about this whole story.
yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting hair.
So that's generally my take up. I can't say the romance in me this week because I've got
No, you
nothing.
don't like
to
it?
do with
I'll say it. The romance in me loves
So-
the tongue
thing.
I love the tongue thing, but that taken out of context
Mhm.
is also hilarious because it's true. But
Yes.
I want to cut somebody's tongue out of their head. New life goal. Gonna do them.
Stick it on your bucket list.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it's on the top.
What happens to the tongue?
I don't know. I'll sell it.
Fry it and eat
Sell
it.
it.
You fry
Eat
it.
it. You can have a tongue
I don't want to
sandwich.
eat it.
Ooh.
I'm not cannibalism. Not for
your
me.
thing?
But this goes back to that whole thing where I want to kill death row convicts. I think that would be fun to do to a death row convict. Like, they're going to die anyways. Just let me fucking cut their tongue out.
Oh, yeah.
You bitch. Goodbye.
Now,
Oh, God.
Sorry.
just come from mind, a good film. It's about 20 years old now. It's called Plunkett and Maclean, and that features heavily on Newgate Prison and Tyburn, and it's got Johnny Lee Miller in it.
Oh,
I love
good old
him.
Johnny Lee Miller.
He's the guy from Sherlock, right?
Yeah, there's a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love him.
he's in it.
He knows.
It's about two. It's a true story. It's about two highwaymen who get caught. I think they had a sort of Hollywood effect to it, but one ends up grassing the other one up and going
What's it
through.
called? Plunkett and Maclean?
Plunkett and Maclean. The Newgate Prison and Tyburn feature heavily in it.
It sounds like Plunkett and Maclean sounds like one of those like 70s.
It does, like cop shows.
Cop shows.
Oh, 70s cop show. It's brilliant. But it's
Plunkett and Maclean.
It's set in the 1700s, but they put all sort of house music in it and all along the way. And so
Cool.
it's brilliant. It's brilliantly done. It's brilliantly done. They used like
Oh, like top,
I mean,
right? It's not good.
all right.
It's
We're
Johnny.
checking them out. We're checking
I'm
out
showing
really
him
good.
Johnny Lee Miller.
yeah,
When
it's,
you
it's
Google,
brilliant.
that was an awesome tattoo.
Every picture of him comes up. He's naked,
Yes.
Naked?
shirtless.
Yeah, he's just.
I don't see one picture where he's got a shirt on. Shirtless.
Yeah.
That's how I like him.
He grew up not far from me.
Really?
Did he?
Yeah, he's from Kingston.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm from Merton, which is the next London borough.
Do you know him?
I don't know him, but I
What
went to
do you?
school. A friend of mine. No, a friend of mine went to his high school.
Rude.
A friend of mine was in his class at high school.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Did they touch tips?
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong.
I'm
with me
rude.
today. I asked the hard-hitting questions.
He used to go to Tiffin High School. I know the high school that he went
Tipping
to.
High School?
Tiffin. It's called Tiffin. Yeah,
Oh, Tiffing.
Tiffin. Yeah.
It was tipping.
Tiffin.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a dickhead. Cool.
That's it.
Well,
Nice.
That's
Nicely
it.
done.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
It's all right.
All right.
All right.
All right, Mike.
It's all right. Sorry that I've rudely interrupted you like 1,000 times.
That's no different to any other week, mate.
Yeah, I feel like it's worse today.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
You know?
Aw.
It's nice. Sweet. Get your fucking gross feelings out of here. I
I know, you like how neither one of us know how to respond. Like, oh,
I watch. Do you ever watch the show New Girl?
yeah, I used to.
So New Girl is like,
Oh, I think I've seen.
it's super
Yeah,
funny. It's like
funny.
my
Yeah.
generation's friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she, the lead character, whenever somebody compliments her, I just watched one and some guy called her beautiful and she was like, shut your face. You shut your no, beautiful, no, your beautiful face. And like it's so and she just makes a bunch of faces and I relate to that on a deep level.
Mm-hmm.
So you shut your fucking face, Lee.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful face, you piece of shit.
Whoa.
I thought
Where is this going?
go on. Well, okay. Well, thank you, Lee, for doing the work.
Nice job. Excellent.
That's all right.
Lynn for sitting next to me and just dealing with me and my general disgustingness.
Always.
I'm sorry about my bad joke in the pub as well.
We loved it.
That's okay.
Love it?
We love
It was loved.
Loving it.
How come every time I do this, I end up having a mini strokes and my
I
brain
love how your
to mouth just doesn't?
your endings just get more convoluted
It's
each episode.
so
Like,
awkward. It's so awkward because
I
you're
love
like
it.
trying to be like, all right, well, do all the stuff and follow us on the socials and like go, suck a dick.
I'm just glad that you. I'm just glad that you're doing it. I wouldn't know what to
You need
say.
to like make it concise. That way you can just
Like this.
each time.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, Dickholes, all the other stuff. Go home. Have a nice day, and then go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves.
Hey!
Good job.
How
How do you make that sound? It's like a prepubescent Chewbacca.
No, okay.
Oh, what a lovely little boy.